Welcome back to Surviving and Thriving, where we share with you the things that we have learned as we have transitioned our family from struggling to survive disease to thriving, right smack dab in the midst of it. In the hopes that something that we share with you will help you, enlighten you, and encourage you as you transition your family from struggling to survive disease to thriving, right smack dab in the midst of it. So there are different stages that we go through when we're overcoming and conquering health challenges, health issues, diseases, sickness, chronic illness. There's different stages that we go through. We have bad seasons, we have not so bad, we have okay seasons, we have a little better than okay, we have great seasons, we have different seasons. And in each of those seasons, there are different levels and different stages within each of those different places that you can be at. We're going to talk about being in a really good place. That's a great thing. You want to be in a good place. But I want to share with you a pitfall that can come with being in a good place that I want you to be mindful of, that you don't fall into the pit, right? And that you stay in a very good place. You have a team around you, right? There are people, your allies, your network, your inner circle of people who help you. For me, my caregivers and my inner circle is my husband and my children, and I love them. Ooh, I love them good, and they take good care of me, right? And I'm very grateful for them. But they are my inner circle. They are the people who help me on a daily basis to do the things that I need to do, to take care of me, to make sure that I'm on the right path, to make sure I have all the things that I need. Now, they do a lot, and they sacrifice a lot for me. And in some seasons, they do every single thing they have in the past done everything for me. And then there's other seasons when I'm able to do some things for myself. I'm able to do a little bit more. And then there's those good seasons where they get a little bit of a break because, they don't have to brush my teeth and comb my hair and put on my clothes. I can do that for myself. I can take my own bath, and guess what? I might be able to do a little bit of cooking here and there and do some things around the house, and so they get a little bit of break. Right? Woo! And then I might even be able to go grocery shopping, and ooh, that's a good thing, right? And so my husband ain't got to do it. So there's seasons when my husband and my children get a little bit of a rest because they're still doing a lot for me, but not as much as that they've had to do for me in the seasons, the non-functional, the bedridden, the unconscious, the hospitalized seasons, right? The crisis seasons. So when you're in a good season, your caregivers may have to do a little bit less for you, depending upon your situation, how much less it is. And you're in a good season, you're feeling good. You're doing things you haven't been able to do. You're feeling strong, and you're feeling like you're conquering things, and you're knocking stuff down, right? And that's a good place to be in. But what I want you to be mindful about and be careful to pay attention to is this. Even though you're in a good season and you're doing a lot, it may be, everybody has different situations, so this might not apply to you, but for a majority of you guys, it may very well apply to. Even in a good season, when you're doing better and you're doing strong, you still have to maintain where you are, and it takes a lot of work and attention to where you are at, right? But even when you're in a good season and you're feeling strong and you're doing strong, you're doing more than you've been able to do. You feel like you're conquering the world. You are not doing all the things that you would do had you not had a health issue, right? You're still not back to where you're doing every single little thing and you're able to maintain everything on your own by yourself. You may be able to do a lot. You may feel like you're maintaining and doing a lot on your own, and even if you are, you can only maintain it for so long, right? Because after a week or two, your body says, I'm done, I'm through, I've had enough of this. I'm going to talk to you about that. There's a pitfall in that, and the pitfall is this. Sometimes when you're in that place, there's a euphoric feeling that comes on, right? It's a high, you feel really good, you think you're conquering the world, and oftentimes you can forget, right, that you didn't get to where you are by yourself. And even though you're doing a lot, you're not doing everything, you are still being maintained by others. Why do I tell you that? Well, many people, and I've known some people who've gone through this and had to help them through their situation, and it was this, where they feel like, you know what, I can do bad or I can do good all by myself. I don't need you. I can handle this and I can handle that. And there's a danger. You don't want to start feeling like you don't need people. You don't want to start feeling like you got it all and that you're Superman or Superwoman and you can handle anything. You don't need anybody anymore, and start burning your bridges. Or start, well, let's just stick with that, right? Burning your bridges or doing something to tear down your inner circle, because good places are a good place, right? We like good places, but we don't know how long you're going to be in that good place. So you always want to make sure that you are maintaining what you need to be maintaining. And even when you're in a good place, right? I'm going to use me an example, because all I can do is talk about my life. And hopefully something in there you can learn from it. So I know I'm in a really good place right now, okay? They thought it would take me a year, maybe 2 years before I got up out of the wheelchair and be able to, just stand up and walk without assistance or aid. And I got that back in a few months. They didn't think that I would be at the place of endurance and strength. They thought that would be years down. In fact, some of the things that I'm going for and some of the things I attain, they said, let it go, you'll never get it back. But I'm still working. I'm still going towards some things. So I'm doing some things, and I think right now I'm in a good place. I'm doing a lot that I haven't been able to do in years, right? But even with that, you guys, I'm not back to cooking 3 meals a day. My kids usually do breakfast. Some mornings I may help. Lunch, we do it all together, and dinner, I do a lot of it, but I need a lot of help with it, and I don't do it every day of the week. I do it three times, maybe 4 in a week, and sometimes less, because on those days I struggle with it. So there are some things that I can do, but I am not able to do it all by myself. My family still do a lot for me on a daily basis. They take care of a lot for me. They make sure I have what I need. There's a lot of energy that I don't have to use, because they use it for me, so that I can use the energy I have to do the things that I want to do and the things that I need to do to keep getting stronger. So in my mind, right, I can think that I got it going on, and I can think I'm doing a whole lot more than I really am, and start looking down on those who are helping me, or get full of pride and think more of myself than I ought to, right? And maybe perhaps think that, I'm doing all of this. Look at me. I've come through all these challenges, and look at me. And then I have no understanding. Say if one of my children or my husband go through something, and then I'm using myself as the example. I did it. You can do it. I went through worse. Why are you complaining, right? We can do that. That can actually happen, you guys. We can get in this mindset where we forget how we got to where we are, who held us up, and on whose shoulders that we are standing on. And sometimes, even though we're doing a lot, we're not doing everything. We can overlook that the reason why we're able to do the things that we're doing is because other people are sacrificing for us. And when you start looking at yourself higher than you ought and looking down on others, you become a mess, right? And you can really mess things up for yourself, and you don't want to do that, especially in a marriage relationship and with your children. You don't want to mess up your family. Always be mindful and be grateful of the things that other people do for you. Now, being mindful and grateful doesn't mean that, every once in a blue moon, just because you come out and say, oh, thank you, I appreciate it, hey, it's because of you, right? That don't mean you're being really grateful and mindful. That every once in a while shout out to say that, I appreciate what you're doing, that don't really mean nothing. To be grateful and mindful, you guys, is an ongoing thing, a daily thing, so that you can keep yourself humble and remember where you are and how you got to where you are, and be grateful for the people that are doing things for you, so that you're not looking down on others and looking up to yourself. I hope you're getting something out of this and this make a lot of sense for you, but you don't want to do that. You want to stay in a humble place where you can stay appreciative of what things that people are doing for you, and you can always remember and stay level of who you are and where you are at. Because if you lose all the people and all the things that are keeping you where you are, you'll tumble, and you'll tumble fast, and you'll tumble hard, and you may not be able to regain or to come back out of it. If you're overseeing, right, as a parent, you might oversee a lot of things. You might not be able to do everything. I oversee a lot. I oversee the menus. I oversee the children and the schedules on who's cooking, who's what. I oversee school. I oversee everything that deals with my household and my children. And yeah, I oversee it, right? And even though I oversee it, it takes a lot out of me. It takes a lot of energy. It takes a lot of strength. But my children are the one who actually have to go do a lot of the things that I'm overseeing. So I can overvalue myself and think my overseeing is the most important part. And that overseeing can make me look good. Ooh, girl, you got it going on. You run your house real good. You got everybody in check, right? That makes me look really good. I look like I'm Superwoman. I got it going on. I could do everything, right? But really, that's not the truth. I'm overseeing some stuff, but you know who's scrubbing them toilets? My children are. Who's scrubbing them dishes? My children are. I'm overseeing. I'm setting the schedule. I might set the menu, make sure the food is in the house, determine who's doing the cooking that day, but they're actually cooking it. So I can't look down on them because my overseeing will do nothing. I can oversee a menu, but if there's nobody to cook it, ain't nobody eating. Namely me. I like to eat, right? So I don't want to start overvaluing myself and undervaluing those who are taking care of me, tending to me, to keep me where I'm at. Now, when you're in a bad place, this is normally not an issue. When you're in a bad place, you can't have that issue of I can do bad all by myself. Some people do go through that. I have helped people with that and have felt that way, right? But mainly, it's when you're in a good place. It's when you're in a good place. So we always want to make sure that we're not overvaluing ourselves and undervaluing someone else. Because a lot of times when you start doing that, you start feeling high and mighty in yourself, and you start feeling like you're really entitled and what you deserve and what you should get, and you start belittling those that have helped you the most, who's walked through things and who uphold your arms, who keep you going, who do a lot for you. And sometimes you can overlook the things that they have done for you. So I hope something in there was helpful for you. Remember, in all things, at all times, in all ways, do you. Until next time, bye.